The New York Times, according to the New York Times, American home buyers are older, whiter, and wealthier than any time in recent memory, with first-time home buyers accounting for the smallest share of the market in 41 years. This is from a study by the National Association of Realtors, which is down the States. White buyers accounted for 88% of home sales during the survey period, up from 82% during the same period a year earlier, reaching the highest level in 25 years. Historically, first-time home buyers made up about 40% of the market. You and I can attest to that. But the share of first-time buyers fell to 26% between July 2021 and June 2022. The median age for first-time buyers is now 36, the oldest it has ever been since these records have been taken, as well as the median age for repeat buyers, which now rose to 59. So basically what this is saying is it's taking people longer to buy their first homes because they're quite a bit older. We've talked about how these inflationary pressures, these increase in interest rates, the increase in housing is going to disproportionately affect more at-risk individuals, both and at risk both in terms of income, but also marginalized groups, including buyers of different backgrounds, nationalities, color, etc. And so you're seeing these built-in systemic advantages that certain people have, which are older white folks predominantly, being made worse during this time. And I've said this so many times that these great resets, these moments where people think, oh yeah, it's going to be great and the housing market's going to collapse and it'll make things more even and younger people will finally have a chance. It's not going to happen. These redistributions of wealth flow up to the same systemically advantaged people as before, and the numbers are bearing out there. Any thought on any of those numbers?
Before I respond to anything, you said white buyers accounted for 88% of home sales. Just so people know, the white population is 76%
in the U.S.
Yes, so it's just so it's like it makes sense. So there's
disproportionate.
There's a disproportionate amount of sales going through. I mean, this is no surprise to me. The color thing sort of surprises me. The older makes sense because in general, like as time goes on, you've made more money, whether it be through the appreciation of your assets or just simply through your income. If you make 50 grand for 50 years, you have had more opportunity to spend money and put money away and buy assets equity. And build equity and own stuff. Yeah. So that one made sense.
But it's nerve-wracking to see that that's getting harder. It's taking people more and more time to do that in order to buy.
Yes. The first-time buyers at 36, that's actually sounds almost insane. Like
that's the median age, but yeah.
That is the median age, but that is very high regardless. Even if it came down with an average, like the fact that it's over 30 for me, I think feels kind of crazy.
Yep.
Because when you consider that a lot of people graduate college or university at 22, 23, that means that
taking a decade.
Yeah.
To buy a house. Yeah.
It's taking a decade to buy a house. The whiter thing, it surprises me, but I feel like it's the fact that basically people of color have been forced to like deal with a lower just everything, like the lower employment ratio, lower pays. Yep. They've been basically put aside for so many years leading up to this that even though it's starting to be less of that, it's still very relevant. Even though it's starting to be less of that, there's 200, 300 years of like the racism that has impacted their abilities to get ahead that now impact those families today, like especially in the States.
Well, it's taking generational wealth to buy homes.
And this is the thing. It's generational wealth. It takes
your parents' help and
so
their parents' help. And
only 50, 60 years ago, it, like the racism would have been very, very prevalent. Not even that, probably like it's still very prevalent, but like it was very, very in your face. And so those generations had the opportunity to get ahead and like on a simple basis, they had white-only neighborhoods, which were valued at a higher amount.
Yeah.
And so just automatically, that family now is going to have an extra 50 grand 50 years ago, which today would have equated to another $500,000.
Yeah.
Right. And so then they're automatically going to have more money to buy. So
it doesn't 35-year-old kids sit in their basement like, you know what? Cut them a check, get them out of the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And exactly. So that doesn't surprise me at all, but it's disappointing to see. I feel like that 88%, I feel like that might be going down though. I feel like I know in this segmented period for white buyers.
Okay.
I feel like that percentage might be going down relative to like 30, 40 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I feel like white buyers made up 95%.
Yeah.
Reaching the highest level in 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my takeaways are, again, that these situations, and this goes back to the squeeze that families are feeling at the lower income levels with these higher interest rates, with this inflation, it is felt disproportionately. And there's that expression that a rising tide floats all boats. Well, and then you talk about when the tide goes out, you see who's wearing swim trunks and who isn't. Like, there are certain people that have been propped up by a system and have these built-in cushions and these safety nets that other people just don't have. So when times get tough, again, the wealth distribution is not done equally. It is done upwardly. And I think that is because what is the fundamental of securing your future and your financial well-being and in turn the well-being of your family? It is real estate.
Owning your
and
home.
obviously we're biased, but there you can point to it and say this is a period of time unequivocally in history where the same people who have always had the advantage, and I'm not trying to get all woke because I trash being woke on here all the time, but like this is how this works, and the pre-advantaged people are going to be further advantaged because they will be able to survive the hardships that we're going through right now better than marginalized communities.